Just wait, Asim. I'm just about to go live now. Just stand by, just for a couple of minutes, seconds,
Sure.
I should say.
Can you hear me, Andy, by
Hello,
the way?
and welcome into this second edition of the Pakistan Super League show. I'm your host, Andy McLean, and we're going to be looking back at the week that was in the Pakistan Super League, and I'm joined by my very good friend, Asim, Rana. Akil Rana, in fact, who was actually the very first person I met in Pakistan. Well, not literally the first, but I don't know. It seems funny, isn't it? It's literally about 2 years to the day when I met you in the stand in the Imran Khan enclosure at Rawalpindi Stadium. I think it's almost exactly 2 years.
Right, right. I think it was Pakistan versus Australia back then. It was the first Test match that was played in Pakistan after a very long period of time, and it was really pleasure meeting you in that very Test match, Andy. Can you hear me, by the way? Just wanted to get a quick information.
It's kind of funny though, isn't it? Like how things work out in life. You know, that was 2 years ago, and obviously, it came through a Twitter conversation, which happened. It actually happened very fast. Like it's not like we were talking for months ahead of time. It was
Mm,
just like
right.
you said to me, "Look, I'll be in this stand," and I
Mm,
remember specifically at the time. I remember speaking to one of the media guys from the Pakistan Cricket Board, and they said, "Oh no, you can't go there. Your media pass doesn't allow you." And I thought, "Well, fuck that. I'm just going to go anyway." And and I found you, and I found Umair, who hopefully is going to join us at some point during the show.
mm.
And it was just brilliant, and here we are, 2 years later, recording a radio show, about the Pakistan Super League. And 2 years before that, we didn't even know who each other was. It's just quite funny,
Absolutely.
isn't it?
Yeah. True, true, very true, Andy. Just wanted to get a quick confirmation, Andy. Am I audible?
Yeah, very audible.
Okay.
Very,
Okay.
very
Okay.
audible.
Awesome.
Very
Awesome.
audible. Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was fantastic meeting you, Andy. I mean, you're one of those person who came to Pakistan when not a lot of foreigners were willing to visit Pakistan just to cover a cricket tournament. And I mean, the love and the affection that you got here, I mean, that was really worth visiting the country, isn't it?
Well, I think also it sort of also works both ways. I seem like
Mm,
I remember that first week very vividly. Like, it was actually before I met you. I got in touch with another guy called I think his name was Faisal Khan, and I think he was the very first person because like when you post a message, you get a lot bunch of replies, but you quickly kind of work out, you
mm,
know, who's actually trying to talk to you and who's not, that sort of thing. And this guy Faisal, he said to me, he said, "Look, um, I'm not sure I've got enough time this week, but if it's possible to meet you, I will." And then I think it was the next morning, I just posted a photo of the street that I was staying in Islamabad, and I know you also live in Islamabad.
mm.
And then he replied to me straight away. I said, "Dude," he said, "I lived straight across the road from where you're staying." I was like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I played cricket in that street my whole entire life." And anyway, after that, he sent me that. You'll remember from back then. I was wearing that green Pakistan cricket shirt for a while
Right.
on that trip. He gave it
Mm,
to me. I still haven't met him to this day, and that gives you an idea of the generosity of Pakistanis.
absolutely.
They're just
Absolutely.
amazing, man.
Absolutely.
Anyway, that's enough of our sort of loving. But we're here to talk about the PSL, and ahead of the show, I sent a few thoughts, and I must say that I haven't watched every game. It's some days you watch it, some days you don't. But um, a couple of thoughts I have for you, and I'd like to get your opinion on this.
Mhm.
We're more or less at the halfway mark now. Well, actually, we're just past the halfway mark, and the top of the table is still pretty much the same as it was last week. So Multan's on top, Quetta's second. My first question for you, Asim, is Lahore gone? Have they got any chance of qualifying?
Uh, I don't think so, Andy. And the reason is, I mean, usually, I mean, what we have seen in the past few seasons, you at least need 10 points to qualify for the playoffs. At least 5 wins and 10 points is what makes you qualify for the playoffs. And currently, if I see, I mean, Lahore Qalandar have just 3 matches to go. The maximum they can get out of the, obviously courtesy the yesterday's washout match, they couldn't get 2 points either, which obviously they were hoping to get. So as of now, I think they're standing at 1 point with 3 matches to go. Even if they win all the 3 matches, which seems highly unlikely because of the current form that they have, even if they win all the 3 matches, they'll be standing at 7 points. And we see Multan already on 10 points, with Koita already on 9 points, and Peshawar Zalmi already on 7 points. So, I mean, they also have their matches to go, and obviously, with those 3 to 4 matches, some results will go in their favor as well. So, I don't see Lahore Qalandar making it to the top four this time around, because out of the 7 matches they have played so far, they have lost six, and one match went in draw, and they shared point with the Peshawar Zalmi team. So with the 3 matches remaining, the maximum they can score is 6 points, and their total would be 7 points, which may not be enough for them to qualify. So I think for Lahore Qalandar, this season is almost done and dusted. It's just that for their own privilege, they want to win some matches for their fans, for their supporters. But the chances of them qualifying this time around is is uh, is almost gone.
Right, and it's interesting actually. I'm just looking back at the notes that you sent me a week ago, and Rana Umair's just joined us now, our fellow co-host. Um, so Umair, I wanted to pick up on something since we're talking about Lahore Qalandars. Um, Last week, Asim, we didn't mention this on the show, but this is what Asim said off air, and I hope Asim doesn't mind me saying this. But he basically said they seemed clueless in their bowling, with the absence of Rashid Khan, and Shaheen hasn't been a threat, and Harris has had poor form. So that's what Asim said. But so that was a week ago. But Umia, like, a week on, as Asim's just said, Lahore's basically out of it. But what's really gone wrong with this side this year, do you think?
See, Andy, like the last two seasons, their premier fast bowlers, including Shaheen, Rauf, Zaman, and Rashid, they have won them all the matches. They have won them two consecutive seasons. That was a big achievement. But again, they haven't worked on any sort of backup plans, right? In like teams do face injuries, but there wasn't any backup plan. So that's the thing the Lahore Calendar management need to think of. That injury can happen anytime with any player. So they should be having a backup. And again, like they were heavily dependent upon Rashid Khan, because when you are playing PSL in Pakistan or even in UAE as well, you need some sort of good quality spin attack who can bring on some sort of control on the game during the middle overs. Middle overs were the was the phase where most of the matches Lahore Qalandar they failed to deliver. They had only George Linde, like from South Africa. Like obviously we cannot rank him among the top spinners. So in the absence of Rashid Khan, they failed miserably, to be honest. And like again, like when you don't have any sort of backup plans, so you see teams failing. Similar thing happened with Pakistan during the World Cup as well. Naseem Shah got injured, the entire bowling attack got
I
disturbed, and no one was able to deliver. So yeah, backup plan is the thing. Like Akib Javed, like who is the head coach, and the all the things he's responsible for with respect to selection as well. So he need to think about the backup plans. What he's supposed to do if no one is someone is has got injured.
Well, I guess from my perspective, I've never shown my true colours in terms of who I support in Pakistan Super League. But Asim, I've got a question for you. Um, since we're talking about Lahore, it's a related question. What do you make of Shaheen Shah Afridi's form, and also his captaincy credentials leading into the T20 World Cup, which is only 3-4 months away now?
I think decision making coming to his captaincy first, Andy. I think he need to learn the captaincy, the basic leadership skills and decision making skills. I mean, we have seen couple of times in this PSL where we had. I mean, Lahore required the run rate in excess of 12 and 13. The people with the likes of Carlos Braithwaite and Sikandar Raza were sitting at the bench. He sent a bowler, Jahandad Khan or maybe Ehsan Bhatti up the order. That was totally clueless kind of a decision that we couldn't understand why he did that. And I think these are sort of decisions, quick decisions that he need to learn very quickly how to make those effectively. He's very new to this captaincy. I mean, although he has won a couple
Well,
of
actually,
PSL.
Asim, can I just ask you a quick question on that?
Mm-hmm.
Just
Sure.
just bearing in mind why are we even talking about this? The reason why we're talking about this is that Baba got stripped of the captaincy, and if I'm not mistaken, it was by the previous management of the Pakistan Cricket Board, right? So at that point when Baba was captain and the next day he wasn't, was Shaheen even a consideration at that time to be a captain? Like, I mean,
At that,
you follow it a lot more closely
yeah.
than me, but I've just, in the short period of time that I've been following, I mean, he just doesn't seem to have any idea what he's doing, or is that unfair?
Andy, I think at that time there were three to four backup captains that we had in the team. Shadab Khan was one of them. Obviously, due to his poor run and his poor form, he wasn't a candidate anymore. Then Rizwan was also talk of the town when it comes to captaincy. He has shown his skills as a captain as well. And then there was Shaheen Shah Afridi, who was also considered as a captain, as a future captain, just in case Babar steps down or the captaincy is taken away from the Babar. But I think what helped Shaheen Shah Afridi more is the last two PSL seasons he won for his team, because obviously for selection in the national team, especially for the T20 and for the captaincy, PSL is the biggest platform, and the performance in PSL matters a lot. So I mean, since he won last two PSL season, so he was considered over Rizwan and Shadab Khan. Obviously, Shadab is not a captain material in my personal opinion, but between Rizwan and Shaheen, although in my personal opinion Rizwan was more deserving, he has a better sense. He's more street smart cricketer. But since he had won last two PSLs consecutively, he was given
I
preference over.
see, I see, I see, I see. I mean, look, I'd like to talk about Rizwan, and as you know, I see him like he's my favourite all-time cricketer because when I was in Karachi a couple of years ago, and I met him in the hotel, and at that time, of course, there was like segregation, and you couldn't go here and couldn't go there. And I just happened to meet him. He just said, call me whenever you want, and I wish I'd taken his phone number, but I was too afraid to ask. But anyway, that's another story. Perhaps we'll come back to Rizwan. Um, but Umair, I'd like to ask you a question. So we're past the halfway stage of the tournament now. So what I'd like to know, because I know we always talk all the time we talk about, Pakistan's limited overs cricket. We always talk about the middle order, and it becomes boring after a while. What I would like to know, from your perspective, Umir, is there anyone new emerging as a potential batter in the top three? Okay, we know Baba's on top of the charts, and that was obvious. It was always going to happen. But is there anyone else that's emerging as a potential top, or not necessarily top three, but top 3 to 4 bats batter coming out of this year's PSL?
If we talk about any new faces, unfortunately, no. Khwaja Nafi, like about whom we talked in the last show as well, like he just produced one good inning, and as I talked earlier as well, like we need to see him scoring runs more consistently. But unfortunately, in the rest of the four matches, he wasn't able to deliver. One name, Aga Salman, like although it's not a new name, but he could be a candidate for the middle order for Pakistan.
Interesting.
Because in this, yeah, in this season he has shown that thing that he can be a good batter in the middle for Pakistan because we have
Where
seen
where
so much
where would
gap. Yeah.
Umair, where would you place him in the order? Because I really like Aga Salman. I think he's a quality player. Um, Perhaps even more quality in the 2020 format, maybe even better than Saud Shakil, for example. But where would you place Aga Salman in the batting order for Pakistan leading into a T20 World Cup?
Ideally at number four, but the problem here is that we have got so many openers in our team. Like if you say that okay, Rizwan and Saim are going to open the innings, number three Babar, then where is Fakhar Zaman? Fakhar Zaman would be number four. So the thing is that the team need to decide whether we need Aga Salman at number four or Fakhar Zaman at number four. But again, if we want to have Aga Salman in, I think the best position for him would be number four,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I know. I mean, well, we're getting into the subject I didn't want to talk about, but this is the problem. I mean, as you guys both know, I mean, I've watched a lot of Pakistan over the last couple of years, and it's a real headache. I mean, I don't know any other country that can't work out their top order. Like they've got too many choices.
Yeah.
The problem is with Pakistan, they've got no choices in the middle order. But let's let actually, just while we're talking about the middle order, um, I just had a look at the stats. Bearing in mind we're halfway through the tournament, I saw that Iftikhar, or as they call him on Twitter, Iftimania, which I think is just ridiculous. He has a strike rate of 196, but he scored 108 runs in 6 games. Is it time to? This is a question for you, Asim. Is it time to just move on from Iftikhar? And I ask that as a genuine question because in the time I've been watching them, I just don't think he's that good.
I think you're right, Andy. Iftikhar has been given a lot of chances at the international level, but he barely delivered. I mean, we used to talk about it. I mean, whenever Iftikhar score big runs, Pakistan lose the match. I mean, this also happens. So, I mean, Iftikhar has been given a lot of chance, and honestly, these PSL performances on absolute flat track, road-like track pitches, I mean, won't be shouldn't be considered for the selection at the international level, especially for those people who have been tried and tested. I think we should be given chances to some new people in the middle order. Like we were discussing about Agha Salman, he's doing brilliantly well. He can bowl well. He can bowl better than Iftikhar. We have seen that too. He can give you wickets in the power play overs as well as in the middle overs. Then we have seen a new batting sensation from Quetta Gladiators, Khwaja Nafi. He can be a very good fit in the middle order if he's groomed a little bit more. So I think I agree with you. I think Iftikhar, we should be done with Iftikhar. I mean, there's nothing left with him. I mean,
But
when,
Asim,
when you
Asim,
see,
Asim, I wanna push you a little bit further on this point, right? As you know, like it's not because I asked for it, but I just happen to have a reasonably big following on Twitter, which is basically 99% from Pakistan. I've never heard anyone say anything bad about Iftikhar. Why
right,
is it that he's so loved in Pakistan when
yeah,
he's so rubbish?
yeah, he's a very funny character, Andy, and he's mostly loved because I mean he doesn't have any personal grudges with any of the players. He's kind of a funny guy. People call him Chacha here. Chacha means your uncle's, your uncle, your father's brother. I mean that is mainly because of his age. He's a funny character. I mean there are few cricketers in Pakistan who has got very less haters, and Iftikhar is one of them. And that is mainly because he doesn't have any grudges with anyone. He's always smiling. He always treats his fan very fairly, and he's kind of a person who everyone loves in the domestic side as well as in the international side. He's a respected person. So I think that is the reason he you don't really see a lot of haters of Iftikhar in Pakistan.
Yeah,
But when it comes to the
it's
performance,
so it's so
Mhm.
weird though, isn't it? Like, Bubba's like 50% plus, 50% minus, whereas Iftica
Hmm.
seems to be like 98% plus the whole
Right,
time when he barely even performs. But
right.
anyway, let's not dwell on that. I've got a
Hmm.
question for you, Umair. Um, as I said, we're past the halfway point in the tournament now. In your mind, Umir, who have been the biggest disappointments in this tournament? Who are the players you're expecting to play well, whether it be Pakistanis or international players? But who's really underperformed in your mind?
Fakhr on top of the list, like Lahore ke andar, like expecting a lot from him, and even from the Pakistani team perspective, it was very much critical that Fakhr should be able to score some runs and bring back his form. So Fakhr, I believe, is one of the biggest disappointment. Like it's not like he hasn't got a chance to bat. He had spent a lot of time on the pitch, but he failed. So he was the one, and again, like from Lahore again, like Shaheen and Rauf. Rauf, although in his last match when he got injured, like he bowled well, a very economical spell that was. But again, like what happened to him in the earlier
Hey,
matches?
hey,
Same goes with Shaheen.
Umir, just sorry, just by the way, related to what I said about Iftikhar, I also think Fakhar Zaman is like massively overrated. I just don't think he's that good. I
Uh,
mean, I haven't seen his
mm,
stats recently, and I don't analyze them, but you know, just based on what I've seen, I just don't think he's that good. But again, a bit like Iftikhar, everyone thinks, based on what I see on Twitter, they think he's bloody amazing. But is he really that good? And is he really actually underperforming? That's my real question.
uh, And he there is no doubt in the capabilities of Fakhar Zaman. He has won the matches single-handedly for Pakistan. There are so many games which he has been involved in where Pakistan was required someone to step up, and he delivered that. We certainly cannot compare Fakhar Zaman's contribution with Iftikhar. Iftikhar at the international level, I hardly remember any winning inning from him apart from the 150, 100 he scored against Nepal. Otherwise, I don't remember any match-winning contributions. Whereas Fakhr has delivered a lot of in a lot of games he has delivered. He has won the match for Pakistan again. Why Fakhr is considered? Because on his good day, if he is standing on the wicket, he can change the match within a span of few overs, and that's why we have high hopes from Fakhr. Like,
Yeah, I know, no, no, I
yeah,
get that, Amir. It's a bit like Finn
mm,
Allen for New Zealand, right? Like
yeah.
he's actually not that good, but the problem is that he can actually blast a bunch of balls over the boundary real quickly, and then one time out of 10 he can score a big score. So I didn't mean to interrupt you. Let's go back to the question I actually asked you, which was, um, you know, um, who else? I mean, I don't want to focus on Fakhar Zaman because we're basically talking about Pakistan internationals here. But has there been anyone else, or perhaps I can throw this to you, Asim. Was there anyone that you thought might have a, like, let's say, a breakthrough year, or a really excellent tournament that just hasn't delivered, Asim, on any team?
Yeah, I think Imad Wasim is one of those guys who's been a great disappointment this PSL. He hasn't been able to bowl well. He hasn't been able to bat at all. I mean, there were high hopes from him. He was taken away from Karachi Kings. He was added into Islamabad side, and I mean, he's one of those guys who actually costed matches to Islamabad this season. I mean, I remember the match against Multan Sultan, where Naseem Shaw got Rizwan on the very first ball of the innings, but he dropped a very straightforward catch. So I think Imad Wasim Fakhr is rightly mentioned by Umair. If I have to talk about some any other guy who has been performing well in the past, but not able to do this season, is Imad Wasim. He has been a great disappointment. And then I think the third name, which I would like to take from the international level, the guys who participated from international level, but haven't been able to done well so far, is that guy from Karachi Kings team, uh, James Vince. I think
Oh,
he has
James
been given some,
Vince.
yeah, he
Well,
has been
he's
given,
not a T20 player. That's
right,
simply why.
right. He has been given some chances. He has played some matches, but I think it was just one last innings where he scored 30 odd runs. Apart from that, I think he has been a great disappointment. Although he has
Yeah.
done well in the past, he has got 100 PSL, 102 under his name. I've seen him playing pretty well in the BPL, some of the BPL season, but he has been a disappointment when it comes to the international players.
Hey,
Also,
hey,
Alex Hale, he
hey,
hasn't done.
Asim, just on that, what, I mean, oh, either of you can answer this, but perhaps I'll ask Asim first. The other thing that's going on at the moment, which was really curious for me, is that it seems like a fairly even split between international players in the Bangladesh Premier League and the
Hmm.
Pakistan Super League. Um, it seems like the quality in both is pretty much about the same in terms of international players. So my question, well, actually, Asim, you can answer this. Do you think that the Pakistan Super League should allow more international players to play rather than compete with the Bangladesh Premier League?
They do, Andy. I think they do. I mean, if we see the people who shows interest in the PSL, the number is quite high. But again, obviously, the teams have to see their combinations. It's not like, I mean, we see less number of people who want to participate, less number of international players who want to participate. The number when the draft comes out, the number looks pretty solid. But again, I mean, they want to promote local talent more, and they want to settle in with the people who have been performing for them. For example, Colin Munro has not been playing with the New Zealand team for a very long period of time. Obviously, he has been a very active member of Islamabad teams. Same goes for Alex Hales, Jason Roy, the people who are not playing for their national teams. They're playing for the PSL. So one of the reason why they usually go for retired players because they do not have any international commitments during the PSL window.
No, I just thought about it in your comment on James Vince. I mean,
Mm.
essentially he's a journeyman. I think he might have played a couple of games for England. I can't really remember, but I lived in England for a long time, so I'm very familiar with who he is. He plays for Sussex. I'm pretty sure he plays for Sussex. But just a mediocre player to be turning out for Lahore, it just doesn't quite seem right. But anyway, let's change tack. I want to come to Umair. So Umair, when we spoke last week, I'm talking about bowling now. We talked about Muhammad Ali and about his unbelievable record. So that was, I forget whether it was 3 or 4 games at that stage, but now he's up to 6 games. So for our listeners that are not familiar with Muhammad Ali's record, and by the way, I'm not talking about the boxer. I'm talking about the spinner, or sorry, should I say the bowler in Pakistan for the in the Pakistan Super League. At the moment, he's taken 13 wickets, which is equal top, alongside Usama Mir, who's had an unbelievably good week since our last show. But Muhammad Ali's got an average of 11.07, economy rate of 6.26, with a strike rate of 10.61. So, Umair, my question basically is for you: is Muhammad Ali the real deal, so to speak?
Yeah, and he, like, against all odds, like, he has been one of the top wicket takers. No one was expecting him to deliver that much. But again, like, on the wickets, which he has taken the wickets that were assisting the fast bowlers. We cannot deny with the fact, but on the other side, yes, if the conditions are suiting the pace bowler, it's up to the pace bowler. They have to bowl the good areas, so credit has to be given to him. But now, since the tournament has been shifted to Rawalpindi and Karachi, now we need to look forward to him, that whether he is able to deliver that. Is he still the wicket taker? Is he able to contain the batter? So I think at the end of the tournament we should be able to like take any call that whether he should be added into the national side or not. But the way he has been performing, and especially I would like to call out his dismissal of Jason Roy, like the way he manipulated. I would use the word manipulated, because I have never seen Jason Roy struggling against any pace bowler the way he had batted against him. Eventually, he
Yeah,
got
I
him
know. He,
out.
he
But yeah,
normally whacks it around
so
all over the place, right?
yeah, exactly. So yeah, Mohammad Ali definitely he is on the right direction, and I am of strong opinion that I won't be surprised if he would get a call from national side anytime soon. But again, like we all depends how he delivers on the flat pitches.
Yeah, well, it's great. It's great. I mean, like, well, this is the thing, Umair. I know, and Asim couldn't join us last week, but basically the table's looking pretty similar. I think in terms of bowlers, the big progression this week was Osama Mir. He went up the wicket ladder, and he's up to 13 wickets now, out of his 6 matches. Um, but Asim, I want to ask you a question about Arif, and sorry, I'm not exactly how to say his surname. Yakub, is that right? Yakub, Arif Yakub.
Yep, Arif Yaqub.
Yeah. So Asim, this goes back almost a week ago,
Yeah.
when Yakub took that 5 wicket bag, which took his bowling tally to 8. Right,
Right.
so over in the whole tournament, he's taken 8 wickets, but he took
Mm.
5 in one match,
Four of them were one in
including
one
that
over.
that ridiculous over at the end of that match
Right.
when Islamabad
Mm.
capitulated. Um, but what do you make of him? Like, was that just like a freak occurrence, or is he actually a really good player?
No, I think he's pretty ordinary, Andy, to be very honest.
That's
And
what I
yeah,
thought too.
yeah. I mean, it was just rush of blood or what came, what part of the body Islamabad United were thinking from at that point in time. They just wanted to hit the ball out of the park, and they did it
It's
four
exactly
times
what
with that
it's
one over.
exactly what I thought it seemed like.
Yeah, and
And there was all these guys on Twitter saying, "Oh my God, this guy's so amazing." I was like, "Hold on,
I
he's
think
bowling in the 19th over of the match. They've got
mm,
to smash every ball to try and win. Of
right.
course, he's got a chance of getting
He got
wickets."
lucky. Obviously, he got lucky. I mean, you miss I hit kind of a stuff it was. So I think he's pretty ordinary, nothing specific, nothing significant to talk about him. He just got lucky that day. If he has to prove himself, there's a long way to go for him.
But Umair, isn't it crazy how the Pakistani fans just go absolutely crazy when someone does something special? And as Asim just pointed out, well, you know, if you put your logical cricketing hat on, well, what else was going to happen? you know,
Honestly, Andy, these one match wonders have costed a loss a lot to Pakistan team. To be honest, like yes, like at times when we see that based on the one match performance, we create that much hype that okay, this man is going to blast away everyone in the international area. That actually not happens. Like India have got a lot of domestic leagues. Beside IPLs at state level, they run a lot of leagues, a lot of tournaments. They have a lot of performers, but again, they give enough time to each player so that they can get mature and attain that level of cricket so that they can compete at international level. That's why you see that a lot of newcomers coming onto the international level from India, they hardly fail. They put up a decent performance just because they have enough cricket on their back. But
right,
again, like as Asim rightly mentioned, like there's a lot to go for him.
right. I see what you're saying. No, I just found that whole thing because I was watching that game that night. Because I was texting you guys at the same time watching it, saying I think my club side could have finished this better. That's my club side in Bali, not in England or New Zealand. I just thought the whole thing was comical, and then the way that the adulation that he got. For those wickets, or was it 4 or 5 wickets and 1 over? I was just like, but hold on a sec, come on. They had to smash every ball out of the park, so obviously he's going to get wickets. Anyway, let's move on to the final thing I wanted to talk about tonight, guys, because we're getting short of time now. We've got a few minutes left, 3 or 4 minutes left. I wanna ask you guys the question: what's going on with Rizwan? And as you both know, I've got a real soft spot for Rizwan, not just because I've met him personally and all that sort of thing, and he's a lovely guy and all that. I think that he's the heartbeat of any team that he plays for. So what I don't really understand is why he's not keeping wicket for his team in the PSL. But also, he looks a bit out of form with the bat. Asimi, are you a bit worried about Rizwan's form at the moment?
Uh, he's done okay, not that bad, and he's an okayish. He's done pretty okay in this tournament. It's not kind of a tournament where he was totally off the blocks like we saw for Zaman. But I think you're right. The best of Rizwan is yet to come, and we may see that happening in the second leg. I think the one of the issue that Rizwan faced. I mean, his team is Multan Sultan, and the pitches that we saw in Multan were pretty much bowler friendly. The ball was swinging up in the power play, which made some difficulties. I mean, if you saw the match between Multan and Lahore, it was a beautiful in swinger that got him out by Shaheen Shah Afridi. So I think the
Yes,
pitches were a little baller friendly. So I think that obviously didn't help him in scoring big runs. But I'm hopeful in better conditions in the upcoming rounds, he'll do better. And I think Rizwan is a team man. We want to see him. I mean, he's the one who likes to play according to the situation. I mean,
no, I get that, Asim. I mean, look, as I say, I've met him personally, and I got really lucky one day in Karachi. There was no one around. It was just me and him chatting, and we had a really lovely chat. I could see straight away he was a super guy. But well, let me throw this back to you, Amir. Why is he not keeping wicket? What's the reason for that? I mean, isn't the wicket keeper like the heartthrob of the team? Why is he not keeping wicket for Multan? Looks like we've just
maybe I
lost
can
Amir.
Hello.
elaborate. Yeah.
Oh no, Amir, did you hear me? What my question was, why is Rizwan not keeping wicket for Multan? Doesn't make
Yeah, the simple answer is that the way the current Pakistani team, we see that there are a lot of options for wicket taking. So I believe that Rizwan is having the same thing in his mind that maybe in the national team he might not be able to keep the wickets. So that's why he's practicing a lot or focusing more on the ground fielding. That's the only reason I can see. Otherwise, like he has been and he is one of the top wicket taker, but you never know about the situations. That's the only thing. If you
yeah,
have the option, then you have to avail that. Yeah.
yeah. It's sort of like the reverse situation of Brendan McCullum when he was our best wicket keeper by a mile in New Zealand, but he didn't want to do it anymore. And it sounds like Rizwan's the exact opposite. He's probably the best or close to the best, but other people can do it. And oh well. My final question is, and this is one for you, Asim, and it comes back to Rizwan again. Um, from what I've read mainly, because I haven't watched all the matches, it seems that Rizwan with Multan is leading this side. So my question for you is, do you think there's a case, and of course, bearing in mind that Pakistan still hasn't named their one-day international captain yet, I don't even know when the next one-day international is. But do you think there's a case for Rizwan to actually be the limited overs captain on both formats?
Yeah, I think the next ODI series that Pakistan has is in November 2024. And I think Rizwan has a very good case of being the ODI skipper for Pakistan team. The team members respect him. He has got that street smartness in him. He know how to lead the team. So I think it's a very high chance. Obviously, seeing Shaheen Shah Afridi's recent performance as a captain in PSL and Babar recently taken away from the captain's recently taken away from Babar. I think the only option right now Pakistan cricket team has in the ODIs as a captain, maybe Rizwan.
Yeah, I just get the feeling that the ideal split is Shan to be the Test captain and Rizwan to captain everything else, whether it's backyard cricket, T20 cricket, one day cricket. I think the decision to appoint Shan was a good one in Australia. I think it worked really really well. Um, I'm not necessarily a fan of split captaincy, but it seems to be the modern trend. I mean, in New Zealand, we've had four captains this season, but no, I think that Rizwan's that really obvious guy to take over the ODI side and possibly also the T20 side. So I think the Pakistan selectors, whoever they are this week. Um, that they're going to have to make a decision ahead of the T20 World Cup. But anyway, guys, Asim and Umair, absolute pleasure to do this Pakistan Super League show with you again today. So thanks to all our listeners here on Global Cricket Radio, and we'll catch you again next time, or this week next time, for round 3 of the Pakistan Super League.